Bound by Fate and Blood by Jenna O'Malley. The Merna Annals, Book 1.
Chapter 10. Normal routines took the deck's activities into a quiet lull. Malice's cruel chuckle clipped Christian's ears, earning her a snarl as she straddled the railing where he tied badly woven knots. Need a hand? No. She ignored him and stuck the pompous hat on a crooked nail jutting out of the railing. Taking a set of ropes, she stated, Shifera said, you sell merchant ships outfitted from the bottom up with supplies, builders, soldiers, and sailors for the crown. That was my father's arrangement. Her Irish slope thickened. Why not yours? I inherited a family business. I wanted to escape at 14. My concerns and how my father left me to live his legacy are of no matter to you, bog. Lowland do not get to call me such vulgarities. The Emerald Isle's infamous temper spiked alongside his Scottish brogue in a furious exchange of Gaelic slander. The pirate snatched a second knot to redo in half the time. I don't want you here. Since you're staying for the duration, keep in mind to bathe. Why? Not only do you reek of every hillside Shifera made you trudge down, but the ship stench makes my nose complain. Besides, those native highlights do not add floral notes in the pleasant manner you think they do. Enough. I understand. Good. I will arrange for some semblance of ritual. Shifera will appreciate the attempt. She adores bathing herself, so be certain you do not infringe on her alone time uninvited. Malice's overemphasized wink rolled into his eyes. Appreciate the advice. It does not come free. I need someone to help on deck during the day. I hear you are worth your weight in running a tight ship, and that didn't come from Shifera. I sail more than I dock, Sunwalker. Still, the sea brings information to those who listen, in ways it wants and as it needs. On one condition. This ought to be interesting. Name your price. Answer any question I ever ask you honestly. As long as I can honestly tell you when something is none of your never mind to ask in the first place, then fire away. Why is your ship named the Lusty Strumpet? With a snap of her fingers and a flourish of the hat as it returned to her hand, she adjusted it on her brow. Let me give you the grand tour and explain how you can help care for her while I sleep. I will tell you what you want to know about my husband's lusty lady. Your husband's. She led him toward the helm, and he stayed at a predictable distance, taking up the position of a first mate, learning the ropes. Yes, my husband, Daniel Buchanan, died a human. Christian's jaw dropped. Your husband was a Scot? And the reason you are a lowland. My husband's high-born father lost everything in Ireland on England's behalf. Danny bought this ship with earnings from playing first mate to a Spaniard. Not easy on a first mate's salary and at a young age, Christian marveled. He appraised the deck, admiring how shadows and lamplight played with her seasoned colors. Malice grabbed her belly as she laughed, reminding Christian of the captain he left behind in London. You are more than a noble sailor with such overstated generosity. This thing was a pit. It took on more water than a would beer and wine. That cannot be the primary reason she gained such ire with that name. Malice stroked the helm. Then she grabbed a hold of it before a strong breeze hit the sails at full tilt. She became his other wife, until he made me first mate. Sometimes it takes a woman's touch to patch the holes in the ship and the relationship. No, Nephtyri saw to that. Awareness hit his stomach with the sour acid, and he often feared leaving a young wife at home under the Baroness's care with similar feelings. Clearing his throat, he attempted a tense question. The hunters? Why else would I lead Nephtyri's armada so willingly? She offered Christian the helm to experience its control for himself. He caressed the handle and tested the amount of play for the ship's direction. He did not assume Rochelle's story could be Malice's tale. Did they specifically want him to cart slaves in and out of Europe? He refused, even though the money was more than we could hope to make otherwise. They killed him. I turned, and those loyal in our crew followed in one way or another. She shrugged as he released the helm and nodded with decorum. I see why Shifera defends you. You have a sense of honor not many sailors live by these days. I suppose I should express gratitude. Think nothing of it. When we take our leave, head to my quarters. Behind the armoire, you will see Shifera's hidden chamber. I suspect she will want you to rest there. On the other hand, the night draws short. What questions do you have? You are more than thorough, madam. Go for a bath, a change of clothes, and a hearty breakfast. Report here 10 minutes after sunrise. The night crew will have cleared by then, and the sunwalkers know to look for you. Seek one named Bovary. He is a former Swiss guard. Of course, sleep well. Calling over her shoulder, she waved at him. Whatever you do, don't start talking about books. You will never silence Bovary again. A full day awaited him without sleep, so finding Malice's empty room was a welcome relief. He had a moment of solitude to breathe and process his nightmare. When he could rest, he either dreamt of Anna Karina or Nephtyri. He thanked the heavens for the wine bottle on a nearby table and tossed his head back with the bottleneck to his lips. If he were to make it through another day, he would not mind being drunk to cope. Relishing the wine's punishing burn, he gasped, trying to wake himself. Inside her chambers, he inhaled her recently departed scent. Sweet cinnamon and lilies. Those legs do go on forever. Oh, Lee, stop it, Maria teased, flicking water at the female catkin standing over her. No, not female. Feminine. Christian observed and shook his head to clear the doubts in his mind about the hard angles of Lee's makeup-covered face. What are you two doing here? Malice sent us. Maria tended a heated tub. May I introduce Lee? The catkin sauntered over to Christian on impressive heels, hiking silken robes covering slender legs. Pardon's fellow disguise master. Christian accepted Lee's hand and returned her curtsy with a gentlemanly bow. A pleasure. Maria, his charm melts the insides, almost like Kufemra Aria. Lee winked before taking the bottle from him and setting it aside. A toned arm looped into Christian's elbow to guide him to the waiting bath. Thank you both for your efforts. I can handle myself from here, though Christian bit back the brow. He anticipated Nephtyri not being there and expected to be alone. That bog weaves words about as well as her Shifeda. She did not have to send replacement babysitters. As you will soon learn, Baron, ritual matters as much as work ethic to Merna. Lee seated Christian on an empty chair next to a bath before kneeling at the man's feet. And Madame Malice's assessment of your eau de parfum is accurate, if I may be so bold. Long fingernails made quick work of the knots of his muddied boots. Lee pulled them from his aching feet and removed his stockings. The French buffoon intercepted the bath I wanted in London, so be glad I smell as well as I do, Christian muttered, with exhaustion and wine thickening his brogue. Do be careful, Baron, Maria giggled as she bent to test the water's temperature. Do not complain about her lover. Frey returns my affections no more than Abraxas advances on the hints you leave behind. And your relentless flirting with Frey says otherwise. Christian groaned at their banter. He wanted to be alone. Lee scoffed. Do show some maturity, Baron, as if you have never seen a cross-dresser before. Not one so convincing. Christian muttered, looking away as a pink tinge stained the tips of his ears. She flicked droplets of water into his face. I intend to scrub your feet, Sunwalker, not give you the best tongue lashing you will ever know. Dios mio, Lee! Maria dropped a pile of towels. A lady would never say such unmannered things. Lee chuckled, overlaying the masculine rumble with feminine tones, forcing Christian into submission with the ritual massaging and washing of his compliant feet. Since when have you the knowledge of what a lady is and is not? Please, Christian growled, unable to handle the incessant chatter. If you two insist on chittering away, at least allow me to ask questions for honest answers. Lee's thumbs dug into throbbing pressure points along Christian's Achilles tendon, taking the bite out of his irritation. Relax, Baron, and stop being so formal. You need to understand, Christian. Maria helped him remove his shirt. Becoming Mashiach Salaxaxis means you will be part of us. Expect us to act as ourselves around you. The first well-scrubbed foot eased into hot water for an extended soak. Lee went to work on the other one. And Shifeda explained how you saved her life. Christian read the connective tissue between the two statements. Nothing more needed to be said. In many ways, they owed him as much as he owed Nephtyri for commencing the coven to keep him. He appreciated the free advertising to some of the gossipers on board then. What problems does my presence bring? Lee's hands dropped their glorious massage, and tension hung in the air. Maria hesitated. She must meet with the other 6 elders. She has broken Udan Shifei's bamboon to remain in protective exile. Where did you live before? An easier question might be where we have not. Maria, do not over-dramatize things. Lee offered a hand to Christian, snapping her fingers for Maria to help him step out of his final garments and into the much-needed bath. Nephtyri is the last female of her kind. As a pure-blooded birthright, her legacy is important. Abraxas knows his attachment to the same claim has its limits. The former nun spat the reply with venom. Channeling her anger, she daubed the contents of several bottles into a bowl and ground in flowers. Nephtyri's bouquet. She managed to find just enough of each variety. Maria handed the bowl over. Lee's massaging fingers made Christian groan. Focus on the band of muscles running between his shoulder blades and spine. Because of the response to his calves. Exactly. His posture is lacking, or he took a tumble, or both. Maria returned to mixing. Christian settled into their quieted conversation as a gentle lullaby, and Lee's massage involved running a hot wash rag over skin less thoroughly, once the muscles Maria pointed to caved into submission. On the other hand, Christian, the flowers will make some wonderful balms for the real bath you will take before the elders meet with you. Gunmetal gray eyes danced with Lee's expertly applied makeup. Say again. Lee oversteps when she should not, Maria warned. No one else will. Lee flicked the bleached ends of her brunette ponytail over her shoulder in emphasis. Christian ignored their catty banter. Why do they want to see me? They were silent at his loaded question, but Lee gave him a brief answer. Nephtyri dreamt of your arrival before Frey brought you to us. The elders need to confirm what she and Kreos Shimon suspect, based on those dreams. Kreos Shimon? Our magical master, historian, and Nephtyri's grandfather in some ways. I thought the siblings were the only full-bloods left. Is Kreos Shimon not also one? Nephtyri has not told you about Magdalira, her grandmother. Lee chuckled as Maria huffed and cursed in rampant Spanish under her breath. Lee ignored the nun. Udan Shafanra Magdalira, Rochelle's predecessor, is a lucky female, fated to be loved by 2 males with enough merit to chance eternity at her side. Kreos Shimon is not Nephtyri's natural grandfather. He treats her like a grandchild by nurture, but he does that for all of us. When Magdalira's first Araisos, Elias, forsook their mating bond to save her, thus resulting in his death, Shimon swore to protect her in his stead. The fondness with which Lee spoke alerted Christian to honor this magical master. Tell the truth. An honorable male was tortured and left to burn for amusement in exchange for his mate's escape. Abraxas's ire leaves your lips again, Maria. Lee helped Christian to stand. The difference between the siblings and Shimon's bloodlines is their purity. Shimon's mother was half human. Christian huffed and rubbed his temples. You seem overwhelmed, to say the least. Nephtyri mentioned Abraxas is not as he used to be. Maria excused herself from the room after tossing a towel into the catkin's face. Why, that ungrateful little truffle! She lives in denial of the darkness Abraxas nurtures. They experienced many losses. I assume the problems run deep. I owe Shifei my life, as do many of us. You should dress. Maria cooked something special for you, some colorless slop. Oatmeal. Lee's tone softened. Malice will add more chores to my duties if you're late. Something tells me Frey would not appreciate that.